Hello there, dear friends, and welcome once again to the Relaxed Fantasy Review. Today, we're going to be talking about bad spells. Spells that just don't do the same kind of things that other spells of the same level do, or that don't provide the thing that they're trying to sell you. We're talking about first level spells. So we are right at the beginning of the game. You're a level 1 character. Specifically today, we're discussing the Druid. So you're a level 1 Druid, or a low level Druid. And you are using your spells because that's really all you've got at this level. You haven't got your subclass, your armor can't be metal, and your strength score probably isn't that great, so you are really desperately hoping that your spells will keep you alive. But if you chose the 5 I've chosen to talk about today, they may not keep you alive because they really don't fulfill the thing you want them to fulfill. Before we get into the list, though, I'd like to let you know that Relax Fantasy Review has memberships for just $1 a month. You can support me here on YouTube by clicking the join button just below this video. You get a couple benefits. You get a badge next to your name in the comments, letting folks know that you're a supporter, as well as earning you my undying gratitude. As well, you will get early access to my videos. You will be able to watch them a day earlier. I upload videos every other day. So the schedule is not going to change. If you can't afford or don't want to support, that's fine. The videos are still going to come at their regular schedule, but if you want to get them a day early, by joining the channel, you can do that. Thank you for watching and for the support. So Druid spells. Let's start with one that is honestly one of my least favorite spells in all of D&D, Earth Tremor. Earth Tremor. Oh boy, Earth Tremor. It sounds cool, right? Oh, you're causing people to be in an earthquake. Maybe it'll knock them prone. Actually, that's exactly what it does. You cast the spell in a 5-foot area, so you're targeting one creature. They make a dexterity saving throw. If they fail it, they take 1d6 damage and fall prone. The ground also becomes difficult terrain if it's loose earth. So, 1d6 damage, not much. Most cantrips can outscale that. Knocking prone, that's a cool power, right? There's also a cantrip that can do that. If you want a spell that does a small amount of damage and has a chance to knock someone prone, try Sapping Sting. That's a cantrip that is in the Explorer's Guide to Wildemount, and it can knock a creature prone from 30 feet. The range of Earth Tremor is 10 feet. And yeah, it just doesn't, it does poor damage. Even, for a first level spell, most cantrips can do more. Knocking someone prone, yeah, if you don't have a high strength, and most druids don't, yeah, this can be tricky, but there is a cantrip that can do it. So I don't see the point of Earth Tremor. Earth Tremor just feels like a useless spell because a cantrip can replace it, the shove action can replace it, if you have a good enough strength to shove someone over. It just doesn't need to be a spell that you use. It doesn't do anything. So yeah, Earth Tremor is a bad one. Another spell that I don't recommend druids take is Beast Bond. Now this sounds cool, right? You designate a creature that's friendly to you, and for 10 minutes with your concentration, you can see through the creature's eyes and telepathically communicate with it. That sounds awesome, right? Sounds like Find Familiar, except Find Familiar doesn't take concentration, and you don't need to have a friendly beast available, because you just make one, you summon one. And it's like, well, druids don't get Find Familiar. Well, they do at level 2. At level 2, you can, using your wild shape, cast Find Familiar. It only lasts for an hour, but you still have the familiar and can see through its senses and communicate with it just like you could Beast Bond. So for the one level, level 1, when you don't have the access to the Find Familiar use of wild shape, you can get a creature to go scout for you, assuming you have a friendly creature. You stack this with the animal friendship spell, Sure, maybe it could come in handy, but that's two spells that you're casting to get something done. And yeah, as a druid, you may have friendly critters that can help you out, canonically. But I'm not going to assume that. Not every druid lives in the forest. So, yeah, Beastbond just is a worse version of something that a better spell can give you. And once you hit level 2, you don't even need to use your spell slot to cast this, to cast Find Familiar. Your Wild Shape will do it for you, which recharges on a short rest, not a long rest. So I can think of literally 0 scenarios where I would cast Beastbond, and I wouldn't be making the wrong choice. Like, unless I'm level 1, have a friend who's an animal, and I need to see through their eyes instead of mine for 10 minutes. Like, I just don't see it. I'm not getting the use case for this spell at all. Another spell I don't have the use case for is Jump. Jump is a spell that a lot of people like to mock because it just sucks. You cast the spell on a creature as an action, and for 1 minute, their jumping distance is tripled. Now that sounds cool. The rules for jumping in D&D state that if you move 10 feet before your jump, you can jump a distance up to your strength score. So your average druid, who may have a 10 strength, can jump 10 feet with a 10-foot run-up. The jump spell would triple that to 30 feet, right? No, it wouldn't. The problem with the jump spell is that the jumping distance that you can cover is explicitly stated that it must use your movement speed, meaning you cannot move 10 feet. If you have a movement speed of 30 feet, which most characters do, if you move 10 feet and then you jump 30 feet, you're only going to jump 20 because you can't move further than your 30-foot movement speed. So this has given you 10 extra feet on your jump, on your clearance of the ground, getting you over difficult terrain or a chasm. But if you need to get over a chasm, you could use a rope or a grappling hook. And a couple levels later, you're going to get access to teleportation magic, which lets you just pop over distances, and that overrides your speed limitation. Jump, you'd think that tripling your jump distance would mean that it would ignore your movement speed limitation and let you get extra distance. That would be fine. You move 30 feet and then you jump another 30 feet, doubling your movement distance. That doesn't seem unreasonable. Yet the spell can't do that. It doesn't do that at all. So, yeah, unless there is a specific 10-foot hole you have to jump over and you don't want to risk jumping normally, then I guess jump could be helpful, but I really don't see why you'd use that and not just throw a rope over. Maybe you don't have a rope. Well, why don't you have a rope? It's in every single adventuring kit out there. Anyway, jump spell's bad. Don't take it. Another spell that I don't recommend. Snare. Snare is a trap spell, both in the sense that it creates a trap, but it also is a trap. Don't use it. You take a length of rope. Hey, look, there's rope again. But you consume it with the spell, creating a 5-foot area on the ground that becomes a magical trap. You designate any of your allies that you don't want to trigger the trap, and when you finish casting the spell, the rope disappears. If a creature steps on the rope, they get to make a dexterity saving throw, and if they fail, the rope suspends them in midair, just holding them, Looney Tunes style, hanging in the air. This sounds cool. Now the creature's restrained in midair, and you could come back later and get them, right? No, unfortunately not. Every turn, the creature gets to make another dexterity save, or another creature can make an arcana check, and if they succeed against your spell save DC, the spell just ends. So basically, a creature is restrained in the air, and then every 6 seconds, they get to try to break out again. Assuming you're a druid with a 16 wisdom, your spell save DC at level 1 is 13. Assuming this creature who's stuck in your trap has a dexterity of 10, which is just commoner level dexterity, they have to roll a 13 to break out of your trap. So they'll be able to do it like a third of the time. And even if they fail the first save, they get to do it 6 seconds later. And if they fail that one, they can do it 12 seconds later, and so on. Unless you are right there when they trigger your snare, they're going to get out of it before you get there. And if you're waiting in ambush, why lay a snare trap? Why not just attack or grapple or do something like that? It doesn't make sense. And it'd be one thing if like you could repeat the saving throw every minute or something, but no, you can repeat it every turn. So snares just doesn't do much. And then the final spell on this list, Create or Destroy Water. Create or Destroy Water allows you to create 10 gallons of water or destroy 10 gallons of water that is in a container. Or you can cause it to rain in a 30-foot area for a turn, or destroy fog in a 30-foot area. Now, on paper, this sounds okay. You cause it to rain, put out the fires, or you destroy a fog cloud that an enemy's put up, or you can just create water if you don't have drinking water. This is an interesting concept. Most characters have water skins and rations, so they don't usually run out of water. In a survival campaign, I could see this coming in handy, especially if you're stuck in the desert and you're not in an area where clean water is available. This could come in handy. The thing is that druids can change their spells whenever they long rest. So if you are in a survival campaign and you've run out of water, take a long rest, wake up, choose Create or Destroy Water, and make 10 gallons of water. Now you've got the water you need. The spell has a use case, unlike some of the other ones I talked about, but that use case is very rare. And because druids can change their spells when they long rest, I wouldn't pack this spell normally. Like, it doesn't feel necessary. If I want to go out and I'm expecting to be a firefighter and I need to create rain to put out fire, sure. But unless you're working as a firefighter, then why are you expecting that? Does your wizard friend happen to throw fireballs and set a bunch of things on fire? Okay, fine, then take the spell. But outside of these very rare situations, Create or Destroy Water doesn't have a purpose. And so, yeah, these are the spells that I recommend druids either don't take at all, or that can be replaced with better spells of similar level, or that just don't do what you want them to do. Druids have the luxury of being able to switch their spells when they sleep. So if you do happen to take one of these and the niche use case didn't come up, that's okay. You can switch it out. But on a standard adventuring day, when you're choosing your spells and you don't know what you're going to be up against, I don't think you're going to need these 5, so I recommend avoiding them unless you know you're going to need them. This has been the Relaxed Fantasy Review. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe down below. Have a look for the join button down there, and keep your eyes peeled for more spellcasting reviews coming down the line soon. Have a good one, my friends.